Okay, now let's get into my takeaways from Oklahoma's overtime win against Baylor for the 2019 Big 12 Championship. All that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I'm not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And tonight, I want to talk about my takeaways from Oklahoma's 30-23 win against Matt Rule's Baylor's, handing him both of their L's this season. Also, want to encourage you to sign up for my newsletter. Today was the last day for you to sign up and be entered to win. It's coming. It's down here. The Hurts lamp. He fumbled it even as he was throwing forward. It'll be in the mail on Monday to a lucky winner, for which I will announce at some point once I figure out who that winner is. Now, takeaways. First thing we got to say is, y'all remember Wonder Woman, the movie, not the comic book, not Farrah Fawcett, Gal Gadot. Stay with me here. And not Wonder Woman, the movie where, you know, she's the title character, but Wonder Woman from Batman v Superman. Because it was all that was lost with Batman and Superman taking on this monster of ancient times that was made out of the remains of a dead dude that's actually an alien, which doesn't make him a dude. Yeah, you remember when she dropped down there with the shield and whatnot and you heard the music come on? Yeah, that's what it was like when CeeDee Lamb caught that 3-yard out and took it 71 yards down to the 10-yard line, man. It was like a superhero was out there doing her thing, okay? And CeeDee Lamb, the most outstanding player of the Big 12 championship game, had 173 yards receiving, which is ridiculous. Like a booger, I stick to this. Look, I'm a little tired. Now, I'm not a little tired. I'm all the way tired. So it's going to come out just a little fast and furious tonight. But you get the point here. CeeDee Lamb was the big reason as to why Oklahoma was able to win this game. Also showed Baylor what it was up against when CeeDee Lamb is on the field. Because you'll remember in the first meeting, CeeDee Lamb sat out that game for a medical issue. And he was over there in his letter jacket watching a dramatic 25-point comfort behind victory to keep Oklahoma's college football playoff chances alive. More on that later. But I also wanted to point to Jalen Hurts, who again did not play the best football game of his life against a very stout Baylor defense. But if you look at what he did, you'll see 287 yards passing, 38 yards on the ground. He needs something like 33 yards to tie Jack Mildren's record of 1,289 yards rushing by a quarterback in the season. He'll likely break that in the bowl game for which Oklahoma will play in. Also, want to underscore, as Jalen Hurts goes and as the safeties go, so does Oklahoma. Because when Jalen Hurts ain't throwing the ball to the other team, and when Jalen Hurts ain't putting the ball on the ground, Oklahoma wins going away. But if you add to that the safety play, you'll know just how good Alex Grinch's defense is going to be. And my goodness, did they ever pick a day to have their best outing since Texas on October 12th, where they tied their season high for tackles for loss in the game with 15. 15 tackles for loss for Oklahoma's defense, 6 sacks. Man, if Baker or Kyler might have had that, we might be talking about 2 national championships back-to-back here. But that aside, Oklahoma wins its 5th consecutive Big 12 championship. Makes it the 3rd, I'm including Clemson in this, to do that since 1971-75 when Alabama did it. And of course, Clemson is riding a 4-game conference championship win streak into a game for which they were bludgeoning Virginia to death. And I expect them to be right there. But the accomplishment speaks volumes for guys like Nick Basquin, who got his first TD pass of the entire season in this game to give Oklahoma a lead. But also, he gets 1 for each of the digits on his right or left finger. A guy that has been through all sorts of injury issues, who has stayed the course, who's a local kid, who deserves all the good that is coming to him. Nick Basquin, proud of you. Outstanding career. At least 1 more game left to play. Also, Kenneth Murray Jr. would have had somebody's argument for most outstanding player of the year, but the point about most outstanding player is that you shouldn't need to argue about it. Everybody should just know. Point there being, Kenneth Murray Jr. had 10 tackles in this game. He did not over pursue. He had a sack. He was in the backfield. He was a monster, showing his elite athleticism and why he is probably going to sneak into the first round of the NFL draft in 2020 should he choose to come out. We'll see what he decides to do. Add to this, Kenneth Murray does graduate in December this month. Outstanding. Bill Bedenbaugh's offensive line got worked. Okay. Starting with Creed Humphrey. Bravian Roy lined up over the top of him and started to pound it on him. And, you know, as my man Jerry Ostrowski pointed out in text message to me, he wasn't getting a whole lot of help from guys like Marquise Hayes and Tyrese Robinson from Bravion Roy. Probably should have gotten more help. Probably should have ripped them a new booty hole on the sideline. But be that as it may, you're supposed to be able to take that dude on head up. Creed's going to have to learn how to anchor down against those kinds of guys because he's going to see lots more two-gap noses in the NFL. He's got a decision to make whether or not he wants to come back next year. RJ Proctor shows you why guards don't play tackle, but he did do his best against what is the second best defensive player in all of college football, James Lynch. Set the season sack record for Baylor, was the first guy that Matt Rule ever thought to go and recruit when he got this job. James Lynch is going to be a monster in the NFL. He's going to be a load in their bowl game. I wish him well. He was outstanding to watch play. I'm glad I got to watch him play. The Baylor secondary was also very, very good. They just weren't able to match up with the likes of CeeDee Lamb on a regular basis. But to the point, who is? CeeDee Lamb is one of those guys that might be in a deep wide receiver class the best. Up there with Jerry Judy, who is the Biletnikoff Award defending, or he had it last year. He won it last year. I don't know if you would call him a defending award winner. No, you wouldn't. You'd use another term, for which I'm a little too brain fried to come up with right now. This is one of the reasons I like to write down my thoughts, right? Because if you write down your thoughts, you know exactly what you mean to say. But the other guy that's up for that award this year is Jamar Chase. He had an outstanding game against Georgia. LSU is probably going to vault to number 1 in the college football playoff rankings to set the table for the college football playoff semifinal because they straight up thumped a Georgia football team that had given up all of 10 points a game coming into this one. The knock on the Georgia defense was, hey, look, y'all ain't really played anybody's best quarterback, and Joe Burrow might be the best quarterback you see at all year long. And if you can go and beat LSU, you deserve to be in the playoff. They couldn't get that done. But we'll get back into that in another video. Look, another thing that I wanted to underscore here was how big a deal it was for Lincoln Riley to be able to say to Ramondre Stevenson, all right, big boy, I'm going to ride you. Because on that scoring drive that they had to go up 20-13, Mondre had runs of 10, 17, and 2, back-to-back-to-back. Was huge. Nick Baskin got him off started. You saw CeeDee Lamb over the middle. You saw Nick Baskin hold it off. And then, how about Jacob Zeno coming off the bench? Talk about, nah, dog, I got this. I'm going to go find Chris Platt. I'm going to go find Travis Ebner. Beautiful play design on that Chris Platt play, by the way, because it looked like a wide receiver screen that was fake. He went flying. I'm watching it from the press box, and I have outstanding view. I get to see all 22 players. And Pat Fields lined up in the slot. He sprints to the center field where he's going to play center field, but he already has eyes on Chris Platt getting vertical, and he's trying to get out to him. Turns out he just does not have enough speed to close down on Chris Platt, and it takes Trey Brown running his behind off to save 6 and save the game, honestly, because if they go score, I don't know that Lincoln Riley has a choice but to go for it on that 4th and game. Instead, he punts. He puts it on his defense's shoulder. His defense decided to show up once again with the 1-yard pin down with the punt at the 1 yard of the Baylor, the Baylor 1-yard line. And then we got Matt Rule choosing to just run the clock out, take it into overtime. And in overtime, what do you get? But Oklahoma going and getting 6. First, you get the face mask on CeeDee Lamb, who already made the catch. Then you punched in. And then the defense decided, no, now we're going to end this. Now it is time for us to show this true freshman quarterback what he's up against for the next 4 years. It's like that. Neville Gallimore in your face. Jalen Redmond in your face. Ronnie Perkins in your face. Matt Rule number checked because he called him 7. Perkins is a tough player. He's really, really tough. Another takeaway I had that I really wanted to get across here was Matt Rule went out of his way at the tail end of his press conference when they had already said, hey, coach, you can go, to say Kenneth Murray and Brendan Buki Radley Hiles both came up to me and hugged me. And for Murray, it was the second time in a row that he sought me out to hug me after a loss, and he wanted to speak to that sort of sportsmanship, that sort of gentleman nature that is in college football. Kenneth Murray also did the same thing with Mike Gundy in Bedlam. You want K9 on your team, all right? There are things that he does not do excellent as a linebacker, but he has all the tools, and he will do whatever you ask him to do. You just might have to ask him to do it 12 times before he gets it down. But Alex Grinch is able to get through to him. Brian Odom is able to get through to him. And I gotta give it up to Alex Grinch and what he's done with Pat Fields and Delarian Turner-Yell this year. Because the guys that we saw against Houston and South Dakota are not the guys that played against Baylor. Delarian Turner-Yell was huge. Both guys coming downhill to tackle. Both guys doing their best to get back in coverage, just knowing they ain't got the speed to necessarily run with some of these guys. Caleb Kelly coming in there to get you really, really good snaps. Deshaun White playing his butt off. Outstanding display by the defense. And I would be remiss if I did not say Parnell Motley lining up on Denzel Mims, on the best wide receiver by Baylor standards. I think Tyquan Thornton is the best wide receiver. I said that going in, that he was going to be a problem. Turned out to be a problem, and I was right on that. It's also right about James List. I'd write about a lot of stuff in this. But Parnell Motley lining up on Denzel Mims and taking him away was just huge. That dude has been playing lights out football since basically the month of November, okay? He's been torched and burned at times. He's also come up big in games like this one. Shouts to Parnell Motley. All right, now it's time. Is Oklahoma going to get this 4 spot? We're going to find out together. Doses. First Class Heat and Air LLC is a family-owned HVAC business owned and operated in Tulsa, Oklahoma. First Class Heat and Air LLC gladly services northeastern Oklahoma. Give my man Lee a call at 918-606-1537. That's First Class Heat and Air LLC. Give Lee a call, 918-606-1537. Tell him RJ sent you.